is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, WW7ATS. Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that get together with fast scan television. We have a repeater located up on Cougar Mountain. We transmit on 70 centimeters. It's a crossband repeater and spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. We also use WW7SRT's 08 repeater, complements of the CTAC Repeater Association for our voice transmissions during our nets held on Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. Also, if you want to find out more about Western Washington Amateur Television Society, Google WW7ATS. That's Google WW7ATS. That will take you to our homepage. There you will find the frequencies we operate on and also a link to YouTube. We stream our nets held on Wednesdays and Saturdays on YouTube. There's a link there on our homepage that gets you there. So with that, I'll take a break in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make a contact before our net gets fully underway. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. Hearing none, again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. So far checked in our net by video link is Ron, KD7QKU, Lee, N7KC, Bob, K9PQ, Richard, K7ITX, Jim, N7QO, and myself, Dave, KD7ZYM. Is there anybody else who would like to check in? Okay, thanks for that checking in. And we have Lee checked in on Echolink in 7KC. Let's go up to the top of the net and start it rolling. Let's go to Ron, KD7QKU.
Okay, good evening to the group. Thank you, Dave. KD7ZYM in the group, KD7QKU here. In Tacoma. So right now the sun is shining and then we have a little bit of wind. I had 0.12 of an inch of rain last night, and then while we were having breakfast we had a little rain squall go through, and then I got another 400 inches and that was it. We did have some wind, so I went out and I mowed the lawn about 1 o'clock. The guys had mowed the lawn. I have my lawn mowed. They mowed it would be a week tomorrow, but I had fertilized it and it had grown so much that it needed to be mowed again, and I figured if I let it go 2 weeks, those guys wouldn't be able to mow it. It would be 6 inches high. So I decided I better mow it. So it's taken me about an hour, but I got that done. Pooped me out, of course. Doesn't take much to do that anymore. So what else is going on? Let's see. I had kind of a smartwatch. Let me drop it. Smartwatch. It told, gave your pulse, which is the main thing, and it told how far you walked and how you slept and a few things. And I had bought it about a year ago and I hadn't been using it. Well, my brother-in-law, would have trouble with his heart. So I decided that it would be something nice to give him. So we went over there on Sunday. So I charged it up. I found the box and the book, and I taken it all over and gave it to him. So I think he thoroughly enjoyed looking at his pulse. After he had it on, he was checking his pulse every little bit, and it shows you the high and the low. So if you haven't checked your pulse, I think it kind of follows your pulse, and so when you check your pulse, it shows you the low and the high, and then it tells you what it is right then. So I think he was enjoying it. I was going to call him today and make sure it was still working, but I showed him how to charge it and everything. So that's it for now. Back to net, KD7QKU.
QKU, thanks for that. Let's go to Port Angeles to Lee, M7KC on Echolink.
Okay, it looks like I should be in. Okay. Well, good evening, fellas, from Lee and 7KC in Port Angeles. Well, hi, Jim. Anyway, good to see you. Well, of course, we're in the grips of this La Nina like everybody else over here, and the snow really hasn't started to melt yet off the mountain, so they're just beautiful here. Really, really pretty. Well, today, at 11:27, there was a minus 2.9-foot tide. And when we have a low tide like that, we like to get down to the hook because the water is so far out. You can actually walk on the north side of the Edis Hook, the jetty. And so we thought we'd get down there today and do that. We've done it in the past. It's always very interesting. Well, my goodness, the wind was blowing over here today. Steady, constant wind going between 14 and 16, hanging around 16. Now, I'm telling you, trying to walk up the beach against the wind like that is just about too much. So I said to Paula, well, let's just go over to the other side then. You know, we'll go on the other side of the hook, and that'll be in the lee of the wind. So we did. We went back, and we crossed the road, went down the other side, and found a log. It was windy over there, too, but it wasn't that bad. So we found a log to sit down on. And we're sitting there in a minute, and then all of a sudden, right from our left, a river otter takes off and runs down and goes into the salt water down there. And I turn around and look, and there's another river otter that is curled up. Well, she's rolling in the sand and drying off and just enjoying the sun. It was kind of sunny. And then I don't know if it's a she, I assume it probably was. You know, that sexist of me, I guess. But anyway, it rolled up, kind of it curled in a ball like a cat would, and just took a nap right there, just about 15 feet from us on the beach. Anyway, we see river otter pretty often down there. There's a family. We've seen a family of 3 pups and an adult and so forth. Well, I didn't have my video camera today. You know, you take that camera, nothing happens. You don't take it in, all kinds of stuff happens. Anyway, that was it for me.
That's the last part of your transmission there, Lee.
It was a windy day. Had a lot of... It's pretty nice. Back to you, Dave.
That finished it up. Thanks for that. Let's go to Bob, K9PQ.
Well, hello. Let me get myself switched in here. That should come over to me.
Something happened to my signal?
A lot of places did lose power around here.
Okay, well, anyway. Back to you, Dave. See.
Anyway, back in order. Sounds like maybe you can't hear me. Let me get a signal check. Can someone tell me how I'm coming through?
Yeah, Bob. Also, we changed over the tone to 103.5 at Cougar. I don't know if you've done that on your radio. 103.5 for Cougar. no response on K9PQ. Let's go to Richard, K7ITX in Kent.
Richard.
Getting any audio from Richard, K7ITX?
Looking at the computer. Am I coming through now?
We have you, yes. We also have Richard up, and we've lost audio on Richard for some reason. K7ITX.
I think he has the same problem I had. I think he's got the wrong tone. K9PQ, back to net, I'll be clear.
K9PQ, why don't we take you right now? You seem to have some RF that's actually getting into the repeater.
Okay, very well. I'll switch the video back to me. Oh, hang on here. Something didn't go. Well, I'll catch up with the video as quickly as I can. So, I was just talking earlier about the wind in the area and how we had we did not have any power outage here at my place, but we did, there were power outages scattered around the area, and for my part, I've committed to field day as a ham radio news with the PSRG ACS field day team, and I'm beginning to get my trailer sort of de-winterized and ready to go again. I was thinking about bringing it back to my place today, but with the wind, I didn't want to chance it, and the wet roads. There was a lot of reports of accidents and problems on the roads, and so I just decided I'd wait for a little better conditions. So let's see if I'm having trouble now getting the controller, the stream controller website to respond to me. I don't know what's wrong, so sorry you can't see me, but next time around, I guess. Back to net, K9PQ.
Let's try Richard again, K7ITX in Kent. See if he's got his tone problem solved.
It's called, I had the wrong microphone for a long time. So that was pretty embarrassing. I know, it's been a long time. I haven't done that in quite a while. So Wade, thanks a lot for getting Grandstream up and running. Hopefully, heck, I thought, Bob was the one that was all screwed up, and I was the honest defender of them all. So Bob, I think maybe you figured out by now, we're on Cougar Mountain 103.5. It's helped eliminate a lot of static we've been getting over the nets, particularly with Grant's Dave Mann, KD7ZYM. Alright, so, anyway, Bob, well, okay, so Grandstream, well, I guess that was from you. We'll get you switched over, if I have to do it, or we'll figure it out. So, okay, let's see. I do want to comment on the otter situation. Situation being that I understand that these otters, they're descendants of otters from an island in the Alaskan Aleutians where atomic weapons and atomic bombs were tested, except that the otters were rescued from the island and brought to the Pacific Northwest before they started blowing off the bombs, with the idea to bring the otter population back to life that had been decimated by the fur trappers in the 1800s. And so I'm thinking, I could be wrong, but I think maybe the otters you saw, their great-great-great-grandparents are actually from Alaska. So that'd be my wild guess. K7ZYM, K7ITS, back to net control.
K7ITX, Richard, thanks for that. Let's go to Wade, W7ITL.
Everything's going good here in Tacoma. Sorry I was a little bit late. There was, I had my, one of my guys over here that's doing the work on my staircase and my deck. He was taking some more measurements. They're getting ready to start to demo the deck here, hopefully, as soon as the, license to demo is released from the county. So once we get that, we're going to start tearing it apart. So that's exciting. So I'm excited about that, and checked into the Country Cousins right before this too, and not coming in very good over that. I got a new antenna. It's an impasse tube. It's a vertical antenna that I'm going to go and I'm going to be using on my camping trip that I'm going to be taking this Saturday with my son for his Boy Scout troop out at Mayfield Lake. So excited about that too. That's going to be neat to go hiking with my son, and then also get to play radio at the campsite. I don't know if I got anything more. I didn't get a chance to hear everybody talking earlier, so I don't really have anything to comment about. But I'll turn that back to you, Dave. W7ITL, back to net.
7ITL, thanks for that. Let's go on to Covington to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Well, I don't know what's going on with the Grandstream for everyone, but I've been having some intermittent internet problems here. Seems to be working okay now. Ron, those lawnmower fellows, let them earn their money, man. They might need to cut it twice or something, but well, I don't know, if they charge by the hour, it might be better to, it depends on how they bid the job, I guess. If they're expecting to get paid by the job, let them work for it. But if they get paid by the hour, well, maybe you need to cut it every now and then. Let's see, Lee, napping otters, that sounds really cool. I had no idea that those guys were from the Aleutians somewhere. I didn't hear about nuclear tests up there, but I guess it wouldn't surprise me. There's a lot that I don't hear about. And low tide, man, I don't know. It seems to me that would have to be a good opportunity to round up some seafood. I don't know what, gooey ducks or something. There's got to be something you can get when it's low tide, I would think. I don't know what's up around Port Angeles, but bound to be something. I I don't know how it is eating river otters, but anyway. And let's see. Reset. Wade, impasse 2 antenna. If you could, please give us a little more information about that. Maybe how it's spelled or something. I'm not familiar with that one. Just curious. And Dick, wrong microphone. I'll tell you what, flying around probably about once every 3 to 4 months, I hear some guy accidentally make a public address service announcement to air traffic control rather than to the passengers, and that's really embarrassing. So, you know, stuff happens. Just got to be careful not to use any expletives or whatever, I guess. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
7QO, and it's ID time again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, low tides, that's always kind of neat, and then there's tidal pools that you can see when that happens, when the tide goes out. And then to get a plus for otters, that's kind of cool. And Ron with a watch that does everything. I think that's kind of a neat thing to have. And get over to Wade coming up this weekend, being able to take his son out, introduce the Boy Scouts to a little bit of ham radio on location in the wild. This sounds like a fantastic way of maybe getting some new hams into the mix and getting these kids interested in amateur radio. So more kudos to you for that. And here in Lake City, I've got 53 degrees. This morning there was quite a bit of rain that came down, and probably about 10 o'clock the rain had quit and the sun came out, and it was, you know, rather beautiful all afternoon except for wind. Boy, did it blow up here in the Seattle north area. So anyway, we had quite a bit of wind that came in, and as Ron said, he did his lawn today. I did mine yesterday when the sun came out. The grass had got up to about 7 inches, so it was either that or get a thrashing machine on location to mow down the lawn. So I got that done yesterday. So that's what's happening here, and got the smoker out, and I'm probably going to smoke a ham for this weekend, I think. So anyway, see if the smoker works again. I didn't get a chance to use it last year, but I think we're going to warm it up for this year. And this is Dave, KD7ZYM, and also I'll open it up if anybody else would like to join our net. Hearing none, again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. So let's go to Ron, KD7QKU in Tacoma.
Thank you, Dave. This is KD7QKU. I just heard this loud bang or thump. I went to see if my wife had passed out or something, but I don't know. I guess she dropped a book or something. I'm always suspicious now after that one time. And Wade, my computer seems to be working really good tonight, so I think the fix was a good fix. Wade came over Tuesday night, I think it was, and brought this little box and plugged my Ethernet wire, I guess, that comes into this room, into a splitter, I guess you'd call it, and then plugged it into the computer. So I'm hardwired now instead of Wi-Fi, so it seems to be working a lot better. That was good. Well, let's see, I didn't make any notes. Yeah, otters are cute little animals, that's for sure. So there's, I believe, when you take your camera, you never see anything. there's a bird here. I think he's a blue jay, not a stellar jay, but a blue jay. Real pretty bird. About the size of a robin, except a little sleeker. I want to get a picture of him, and every time I take my camera out on the little deck and I sit there with it for 20-30 minutes, he never shows up. Sure as I go out there and sit down, here he comes today. He was over on the lawn. I could have got a beautiful picture of him, but I was mowing lawn, so I didn't want to track in the house. When I cut the grass, it puts green stuff on my shoe soles from the freshly cut grass. If I wipe them on the rug, it makes a mess. So I have a, you know, one of those brushes that you wipe your shoes in. So by the time I'd have done all that, he'd have been gone or taken my shoes off. Ran in from my camera. So camping, yeah, Mayfield Lake. I don't know. See, is that where Ike Kinswaw State Park is? Can't remember. There's two lakes down there. They're dammed up lakes. But you should have a good time. I hope it doesn't rain this weekend. And yeah, I was kind of interested in the antenna too. I have what's called an ENS. It's an end-fed antenna, and you can just, I would take a fishing weight, throw it over a tree limb, and tie the other end of it to the ladder on the motorhome, and then hook it up to the quacks. It worked just fine. But it was only for 10 meters, because that's all I could talk on. But anyway, see what, I don't know if Wade has a picture or not. Sounds interesting. Back to net, KD7QKU.
7QKU. Well, let's see, if we were in New York, coming up next, we would say, let's go to the Autoposen. Let's go to Lee, N7KC.
Okay, the timer's going, and I think I'm okay. Well, howdy again from N7KC, Lee in Port Angeles. Well, listen, there are two types of otters. There's the sea otter, which you may be talking about, Richard, and then there's the river otter. And we have a lot of river otter here, you know, but they don't, you know, they're just happy in the salt water too. They're not nearly as big as a sea otter. Most of the sea otter, by the way, sea otter eat urchins big time, and so they live where the urchins are. And it turns out that sea lion rocks off the west coast of Washington, and oh gosh, what's the other one? The other island that's Destruction Island, which is a little bit further south than that, is a home. There's a big sea otter population there. Turns out we went to a lecture here down at the wharf on sea lions. Not that, well, a couple of years ago. Somebody from UBC came down and gave a nice lecture about them. They were studying them. But anyway, so these are a lot smaller than a sea lion or a sea otter, and they're just not very scared of people. You know, just don't seem to worry about that. So we just walked up maybe 10 feet from it, and it just looked up at us, and then just put its head back down and went back to sleep. Well, we wouldn't bother it, but it didn't seem to mind we were there. And, yeah, Wade, how about that? You got yourself an M-Pass. I looked that up real quick. I took a quick look at that. I was wondering, what are you going to use for the tuner? And it looks like it's a stealth antenna. I also saw a couple of hanks of wire that made me think it was a dipole, but you're talking about using it as a vertical. So maybe you can describe that antenna a little bit, how you're going to use it. And it did say you need a wide-range tuner to run it on all bands. So I was just wondering what you've got to go along with it that you can actually make the, you know, the antenna will radiate. It's the radio that's unhappy if there's a big SWR coming back. So the tuner just cleans that up. So I'm curious about it. I'd like to hear more about your antenna. And I would love to hear you on if I knew when and where. In 7KC, Lee in Port Angeles. Back to you, Dave.
Thanks for that. Let's go on to Field Day Bob, K9PQ.
Still can't get reconnected to the Grandstream website, so Richard, you were saying you thought you could do that, so if you could switch me, and I'd appreciate it. Let's see, sea otters. Oh, first of all, blue jays. Yeah, I saw a lot of Stellar's jays growing up, and my mom clued me in when I was young that no, those were not blue jays, even though they were blues and blue and looked like jays. They were Stellar's jays. And I don't know that I've ever seen a blue jay around here, ever. I think I saw them when I was living in Chicago, and I've seen them in zoos and things like that, but I don't know that I've ever actually seen one around here. The other thing is the sea otters. As Lee was saying, there are sea otters and river otters, and the Seattle Aquarium, one of the first real big accomplishments of the Seattle Aquarium that kind of put them on the map nationally and internationally was they were the first aquarium to be successful breeding sea otters, which was a big deal to try to get them back from endangered status. And so it was pretty cool. My brother, he's very much into biology and marine biology especially, and so he kind of got me up to speed on that. But pretty cool thing for the Seattle Aquarium in the early days. Okay, back to that, K9PQ.
K9PQ, okay, let's go to Richard, K7ATS.
Well, I don't know what's going on. It did not react. I don't know if you have the, if you have the YouTube on or not, but you could see us trying to, I think they're number one, and so it just wouldn't save. And then, or when I went to, even when I went to, the park at 6, it wouldn't save either. So I'm not sure what's going on. It just seems kind of weird, and now it's stuck on my ground stream for whatever reason. Well, we'll see. We'll keep playing around with it and see if we can get it off dead center. Oh yeah, windier than heck today. What else did we do? Did a little bit of grocery shopping, did a little bit of progress billing for the contract accounts, kept Mika and Pip under control. In fact, Mika had a bed right next to the front window, and Pippa kept looking at Mika in the bed, and then look at Mika in the bed, look at me. So I got the hint. So I had to go get another bed, stick it by the window. when one sees one, the other wants it. It's just never, it's kind of like kids. So anyway, golly, I'll just have to keep this short. KD7ZYM, K7ITX, back to net control.
ITX, thanks for that, Richard. Let's go to Wade in Tacoma, W7ITL.
ITL here. I'm just getting my inputs changed here so we can all see what's going on. You guys see my screen okay? Let's see. I'm trying to get it to switch. There we go. Can you guys see that? That's the antenna. It's in the whip configuration, which has a ground spike, and then it has I think 5 or 6 aluminum sections, and then another, I think 17, I don't know, let me see, count here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 5 sections. I thought it was more sections than that on the top section, but It's a pretty cool antenna. It's very versatile. It comes in this really cool camo Army backpack that all fits together nicely. And it does have some wire antennas, so you can make an in-fed inverted V, an L, inverted L. You can make a dipole. I also bought this, what do you call it? It's like a, it's called an arborist sling or arborist thing where you basically have like a beanbag at the end of it, and it's a rope, and you can throw it over runs. So I'm going to use that when I go out to the camping this weekend. I don't know if I have anything more to say other than pretty cool listening about the otters. I didn't know that sea otters were much larger than river otters, Lee, and didn't know that sea otters were into eating urchins only. I didn't hear what you said about river otters eat, but and then Ron, it sounds like you saw a stellar jay. Seems to be quite a few out here. I see them all the time, and they got a really distinct song. It's kind of like a crow almost. But yeah, let me turn it back to you guys, and I'll see you on the next round. W7ATS, back to net. Oh, before I turn it back, let me show you the other picture. I don't know if you guys saw that. Let me flip it through here. So that's what the antenna looks like when it's all back together and in the pack. It fits pretty small and snug, and I'm going to use it to also carry my stuff for the camp in the backpack as well. So it'll be my day pack, or my trail pack, whatever you call it. So yeah, that's that. It's a neat antenna. I'm excited about using it out in the wilderness and seeing how well it performs. Alright, well, I'll try back to net now. Dave, W7ATS, back to you.
I think I walked on you a little bit there, but I think we got everything out. Let's go on to Covington Jim, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, I don't know about everyone else, but Dave, I didn't hear anything that you said. I guess Wade had a lock on the repeater before you got there, or maybe like just by a fraction of a second or something. Let's see, Wade, that antenna looks pretty cool. Thanks for putting that up. It looks like there's enough stuff there that you can, that it should be very versatile. I think you'll do a lot with that. But going along with what Lee says, keep an eye on the SWR. You may need to have a tuner of some sort to make sure it's all balanced with low SWR. I can also find sorts of stuff around here. Let's see here. And okay, I'm not sure I know the difference between a blue jay and this other bluebird that someone's talking about. I don't. I saw a bluebird out here maybe a week ago, maybe a week and a half ago, 10 days-ish, and I just assumed that it was a blue jay, but that's because I'm not smart enough to know that there's another bluebird out here. Insofar as recognizing what he's saying, I don't know. I didn't go out and give the bird an opportunity to curse at me, so I don't know. Usually they make some sort of appeal for food, and it's sometimes the food that you might give them is not pleasing to them, I guess. I don't know. Some animals are finicky. I had a cat that was really finicky. He liked milk, but only a certain brand. And I remember one day we got some milk. They didn't have our cat's favorite brand of milk, so we got some other kind and put it in his bowl, and he
looked at it and looked at us and walked away. Okay, sorry, dude. We tried. KD7ZYM and 7QO. Yes, smaller jays. See a lot of those here in Lake City area in the summertime. I think the only outstanding bird I saw here in Lake City was a couple of years ago was a real genuine red-headed woodpecker. It was like brought me back from the Woody Woodpecker days of cartoons. I said, wow, this thing does have a red head, and it was pretty impressive. So that's what I've seen, only an unusual bird besides the eagles that seem to fly around the area from time to time. And so, with that, I'm going to move it back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
Thanks, Dave. KD7QKU here. Well, I was thinking that Wade was showing us some of the landscaping. I understand Wade had some landscaping done at his house, so I don't know if that bark and stuff on the left-hand side of the picture was new or not. And I'm not sure about the area where he had his chairs. So anyway, I'm going to have to drive by and take a look. So anyway, go back to the blue jay. So Jim N7QO, a stellar jay, is all blue. He's a beautiful bird, and he has a kind of a tuft of feathers on the back of his head that sticks up. He's a distinct bird. He's big. He's about robin size, and they're very pretty. In Bellevue, we had 4 of them that hung out at our house all the time. But over here, it's a different bird. It's got a lighter blue on it, and it's got white, and it's got brown, and kind of gray on the wings a little bit. And it's a very pretty bird, and it has a longer beak, and it looks like it's about a robin size, except it's a little more streamlined. Robin is kind of the ones we have are kind of stocky. This is a little more streamlined bird, very pretty bird. And I looked them up in the book, and it looks like it's a bluebird. There's a pair of them, I think, because there's usually 2. When one shows up, there's usually another one around too. So I've been trying to get a picture. Joanne's cousin is in the birds, whatever the birders are. He's a big birder, and I thought maybe I could text him the picture and he could tell me for sure. But I looked them up, and their range is in this area, and I looked them up. I have an app for birds, and there had been other people report them over here where we live too, and down by Ruston and stuff. So apparently there are a few of them around, but they're a very pretty bird. Never saw the bird in Bellevue. It was a new bird to me. So I guess that antenna looks pretty good. Wait, I'm gonna check it out here maybe on the computer after the net and see what they say about it. But I don't know where you got it, but it looks pretty good. One is the other one that it's a vertical antenna that has taps. It has taps in it. You tap into whatever frequency you want to use. I think Bob, maybe K9PQ, has one of those, or Dave might have one too. So you set it up as black, as vertical. I know my friend Randy has one. I can't say the name of it. And you tap into it for whatever frequency you want to use, so you wouldn't probably need a tuner. So I don't know. But anyway, food for thought. Back to net, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU. Let's go to Lee in 7KC in Port Angeles.
Okay, I think we're working. Anyway, yeah, it's 7KC, Lee in Port Angeles. Yeah, stellar jays have an attitude. I mean, they take no prisoners, right? And the thing about them is, they're bigger, of course, than the little brown jobs, that we're used to having, the pine siskins and the sparrows and all that. And they get on the feeders here, and they put their bill down. They're after, even when you're buying expensive patio mix, which is a story too, but birds really love patio mix. Anyway, those jays will go in there, and they just shovel it off of the feeder, looking for certain things in the patio mix. They're really, really hard on a feeder. And we have them here. Yeah, they're noisy. And we had a Douglas squirrel show up yesterday. It's been years since we've had any squirrels here. We used to have 3 or 4. But we have a lot of cats here, you know. Anyway, they stock our bird feeding stations and all that. And they pick those squirrels off one by one because the Douglas squirrels stay on the ground a lot. And they're no match for a cat. You know, they'll get them. And the last thing I'm thinking of was, Jim, you hauled a tuner down there, and I thought I could recognize that tuner, but I'm wondering if you'll just say who it was when you come back. Oh, Heathkit. Is that Heathkit? Heathkit? Oh, how about that? Well, I'll be darned. Very interesting. Okay. All right. I thought I had seen one of those before. Well, you know, the new thing here is a really good friend of mine, Gordon Feather, W7WR, died a number of years ago. And he was a real CW operator, ham operator, and so forth. And just before he died, he gave me his Vibroplex keyer. It's a lightning bug. And, oh my gosh, I bought a container to carry it in and the wedge, you know, that you can stick into a regular straight key. Well, anyway, I've had that on display here, and I thought, I'm going to put that thing in operation. So I did. I set it up, and I've got it here as part of the key array. I don't know whether I can get a camera here and illuminate it good enough to see it. But that's it right there in the middle. So at the paddle, here is my paddle, Vibroplex. Here's the Vibroplex bug, or the lightning bug. And then this is my Vibroplex straight key here. And then this is the bencher over here. So anyway, before I time out, I'll get it back to you, Dave, N7KC, Port Angeles.
Connected, KI4HTA.
7KC, thanks for that. Let's go on to Bob, K9PQ.
Well, Richard's going to try one more time to see if he can get the Grand Stream controller page working. I have had no luck at all. It worked when we started the net, and by about 10 minutes past 8 or so, I couldn't get it to respond anymore. I've tried just reloading the page, and it just spins. It doesn't reload. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know if somebody mentioned it. I was kind of distracted by the whole Grand Stream thing, but Buddy Pole is what Ron was talking about that I have and maybe Dave has. And yeah, it's got attachment points for you to connect a lead to a coil on the antenna to get you to the band. It's not so fine a tune that you need to do it when you change frequencies, but when you change bands, you need to change the connection on the coil, and it works pretty well. I mean, it's what we found when I was trying it with I'm blanking his name at the moment, but when I was trying it with somebody else that also has it, he came up with the idea of just putting a little alligator clip on the end, because he found that the preset ones that you had, that you were supposed to put in there at certain points on the coil, oftentimes those weren't the best placement, because anything around you, like you know of any trees around, or if you're close to the ground, you know, that's all going to change, and you're gonna have to adjust that connector on the coil, because the impedance will change, and you need to adjust the coil accordingly. So anyway, that's what I know about the Buddy Pole. I'm using the mast of the Buddy Pole and the tripod base for the antenna I'm using right now. It's a very nice mast and very light and portable. The whole thing's really portable. Okay, back to the HTA disconnected.
9PQ, Bob, thanks for that. And we'll get in an ID here again also. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, net on the 08 machine. Let's go to Richard, K7ITX.
Yeah, that's the case, Bob. We do not have internet connectivity to the ground stream control right now. So, and you know, with the wind, I wouldn't. An internet outage up around there, I don't think is too huge of a surprise. A lot of trees and things of that nature. So. That's where my money's at. Anyway, so golly, what else is going on? Well, you know, I can give you a grass report. I think I told you guys we had a crew tear up our yard and reseed and new soil and all that kind of stuff, and it's looking really good. They came back and actually had a pretty rich kind of a manure type compost with more seeds to replace the seeds of the birds that ate. But no, it's coming out. Considering this cold, dark, gray spring, what do you say? K7ZOAM, K7ITX, back to net control.
7ITX, Richard. Let's go to Wade, W7ITL.
W7ITL, I was going to show you guys a kind of a close-up picture of what this antenna looks like. You got all the sections, you got a coil of wire, you got your input wires, you have an extension here, you have the ground spike right there, and I took some more pictures of the setup here. So let me just give you that. That's at the base. This is in the vertical mode where you have the coax coming into this balun here. It does use I do use a tuner. Let me show you that. I got this guy here. I got my IC705, which I took a video of just a minute ago. And that tuner under there is going to, I'm using that tuner and that radio this weekend. It's a 10 watt radio, and I got a 16 amp hour lithium phosphate battery that's there in the corner there. You see that? And I'm just going to show you a couple more videos. You can see it kind of swaying. It's real flexible. It's made out of aluminum. And it's really lightweight. I think it weighs maybe less than 5 pounds, or maybe it's like 5 to 6 pounds when it's all like collapsed and inside the bag. And then the wires don't weigh that much. And then the bag is like a 50 or 60 liter camping backpack. So, and it all fits in there, and it only takes up about 15-20% of the bag. So that's a different picture. But yeah, that's that. I feel like there's some more questions maybe I didn't write down so I could respond to those answers, or those questions. All right, well, that's that. Yeah, the ground stream is not working as far as changing inputs. It was working for just a split second after, right before I jumped on. So it's there's definitely, I think it's maybe the wind and the hand wind that's just not the best of conditions out there for Wi-Fi and microwave dishes. So, all right, well, that's it for this round. W7ITL back to net.
W7ITL. Wait, let's go on to Jim in 7QO in Covington.
M7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, thanks
for mentioning what type of jay that was, and we were talking a little bit about woodpeckers. I haven't seen any red-headed woodpeckers around here, but I definitely have one that comes back every year. He goes somewhere south and he comes back here, and I'll tell you what, that guy, on a little ridge that I have above my patio door, he gets on there and he just knocks and knocks, and every now and then I have to go out and chase him away. And of course he comes back after 5 minutes or so. I think to him it's sort of a game, and I've kind of, over the years, I've grown okay with that. I don't know if I should put it this way, but to me it actually looks like he has been getting older. Not like gray feathers, but kind of like gray feathers. I mean, seriously, it looks like the bird's getting old. I haven't seen him yet this year, so I hope he's still around. Even though he is destroying my property. Oh well. And let's see. Oh, eagles. I have the darndest thing. There's an eagle that comes around usually like when it's really hot outside. I'll put out a sprinkler to irrigate some of my shrubbery and that. And there's an eagle that comes down, lands on the ground in the vicinity of my bushes, and he just kind of stands there underneath the sprinkler. But he's all brown. I think he's an eagle because he sure looks like an eagle, but he's not white-headed. He looks like he's completely brown. That's kind of cool. He kind of runs away whenever he sees me. Let's see. Oh yeah, Wade, thanks for the picture of the turtles. That looked kind of cool. Oh, reset. Yeah, that, don't know where they came from, but that looked like quite a menagerie of turtles. Lee, yeah, cool keys there. I don't know, I'm not coordinated enough to use a bug, I guess. I've tried a couple of times. I do not currently own one. I got rid of the one that I had because it's like, okay, how do I do this? But anyway, yeah, problems. I'm having some problems also. 1.2 signal that I'm getting is intermittent tonight. I'll bet the antenna is whipping around pretty good on the mountain tonight. So it's been windy here all day as well. And it rained rather hard this morning. Then it was okay for about 2 hours. Then it rained again pretty hard. And it finally quit maybe around lunchtime or so. And it's been dry the rest of the day over here. I've got 52 degrees here. Seems kind of comparable to what is in the whole area, but not a whole lot of wind here. Definitely windy, but not enough to bring down any power lines. So I'm thankful for that. KD7ZYM and 7QO.
7QO, unfortunately the clock has said it's time to end the net. We'd like to thank the owners and operators of the SeaTac Repeater Association for allowing us to use WW7STR repeater 147.08 for our voice transmissions for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society nets. And with that, I'm signing off the net at 9 o'clock. This is Dave, KD7CYM, on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. Good evening all, at 9 o'clock.